Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for being here. I know that this week we've covered a lot of heavy, dark, depressing, negative topics. And today's stream is going to be much lighter. I feel like I want to kick off the weekend in a positive way. And, we're going to get into Hunter Biden's dad's latest scheme to put America last. We're going to get to Cuomo being charged and some other topics. But first, I think we all deserve a little treat, okay? We deserve a treat. We deserve it. So, without further ado, let's get right to it.
I have one thing to say. Hang on here. Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go. Let's go. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, you know what they saying, ho? Hey, you know what they saying, though? Hey, you know what they, yeah, you know what they, yeah, hey, and I say it with a passion, as I pull off in the Aston, don't nobody like his ass, huh, tried to cover up and tell the people, go Brandon, but we know what they saying, though. You can hear the chant in every post. Don't nobody want this commie cause we not in China. Everybody hated Trump and now they out to catch a body. That's what they get for treating us like we in Squid Games. Green light mandate like he's insane. These times people waking up to everything. Go Brandon, but we all know what the saying mean. Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. Hey, you know what they saying, ho? Hey, you know what they saying, no? Hey, you know what they, yeah, you know what they, yeah, hey.
We all deserved that, guys. We just did. I'm sorry. We just had to do that. There is something to be said about the fact that the top 5 songs on iTunes are all different versions of Let's Go Brandon, despite the fact that there is no campaign or promotional marketing behind it. It's just independent artists within the MAGA movement that have swept the nation, if not the world, with these songs. And thank you to that NBC host for providing this commentary, this content. This is great. This is good for the movement. It shows that we have scored a tremendous win in culture. This is a cultural thing, right? Organic grassroots. And despite the fact that the media, or social media rather, is trying to suppress this song, trying to suppress the slogan now, Let's Go Brandon, it's only had that Streisand effect. More people are looking into it. More people want to know what it is. More people think it's hilarious. And you got these Democrats. This is the perfect video. I like this better than the original video where the dude is just rapping. This is better because it also shows Democrats. Basically, all those clips, all that B-roll was Democrat pandering. And there was videos they could have included in there, including like AOC dancing. I mean, it's so cringe, but it's also just perfect. You could not script this any better. So thank you to that NBC host who was desperately trying to control the narrative and gaslight the public in real time. Who was watching that broadcast? First of all, who's watching NASCAR that actually likes Joe Biden? Not many. So they knew what was happening, right? We don't really need to rehash it, but it's like, this is huge, a huge cultural win. And she provided this slogan that is undeniable. Every day, pretty much, I Google "Let's Go Brandon" just to see what are the news articles. Some people or some news outlets are just starting to report, what does "Let's Go Brandon" mean? Oh, it's a right-wing GOP trope or whatever. They have to include where it came from. They literally cannot lie about the origins of "Let's Go Brandon," which makes it that much better. And again, the fact that it's climbing the charts, beating out the likes of Adele and Ed Sheeran, two darlings of mainstream culture, to be beat out by this MAGA song. And really, it's not even a MAGA song. It's not. It's an anti-Biden song. Whether or not you like the lyrics or the profanity is irrelevant. It's about the sentiment. It's about yet another measurable to further prove that this man did not get 81 million votes. This is a metric for it to climb the charts on iTunes, climb the charts on Spotify. It's just another metric, similar to YouTube comments, upvotes versus downvotes, the number of people that show up to protest against Hunter Biden's dad. Whenever he makes an appearance somewhere, he is met with people who don't like him, whether he's in a blue state, a red state, of course, or most importantly, probably a swing state. He goes to Pennsylvania, not popular, goes to Michigan, not popular, goes to Iowa, not popular. So this is a huge, huge win. Probably should have did this last week. I know people were asking, Mike, you need to do the "Let's Go Brandon" thing. And I just felt like after watching this video last night of all these Democrats dancing to "Let's Go Brandon," almost on rhythm. They don't have any rhythm, but to this song, to me, it looks like they're dancing to it. So I love it, man. All right, let's get to Hunter Biden's dad and his latest attempt to, put our country last. That's what this is about. And the fact that, and here's my theory. This is just my theory. So follow my logic here. Biden regime is considering to pay hundreds of millions to illegal alien families separated at border in 2018, $450,000 per illegal alien. Now, of course, on the surface, that's ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. But think about it like this. I just told you about the song, "Let's Go Brandon." Super popular. Everybody knows about it right now. The chants of F Joe Biden at college football stadiums, every public gathering, you can see this, baseball games, everywhere. They're aware of this. And so they're scrambling to do whatever they can to replace the American voter. And the best way to replace the American voter is to accelerate the influx of the invasion, illegal immigrants coming into the country, crossing the border illegally. So his, globalist puppet masters, the people that want to bring down America, are like, let's get as many as we can in here. Let's get them in here. We got to do whatever we can to incentivize them to come. We got to do it, whatever we can. So let's continue to traffic out these headlines in the media. Let's continue bribing them to come here. It's less about them paying the illegal immigrants that were separated, because this money doesn't really mean anything. I mean, they're printing trillions of dollars. I mean, it's endless spending. But to me, this is a dog whistle to people who aren't in the country yet. Hey, get up here and, get yourself in a situation where you are separated from your family and you'll be eligible for $450,000. Wow. Such an arbitrary number. Who came up with the number? 450,000. Why not 500,000? Why not 475,000? Why $450,000? What went into that number? Nothing. It's arbitrary, but they're doing it to incentivize more people to come here. It's a magnet. It's bribery. Hey, come here, because we may just need you to replace American citizens that I know are not going to vote for Biden or whoever else runs on the Democrat ticket in 2024. And also, this might be a little bit of a reach on my part. This maybe is subtext of them saying that maybe elections aren't quite as rigged as they want them to be. No doubt, elections, I believe, are rigged. But why do they need to bring in so many illegal voters? Right? Why do they need to do that? If he's the most popular president in U.S. history, it'd be really obvious. He could just get reelected on the vote of American citizens. But if they're rigging it, then you wouldn't need American citizens or illegals to vote, right? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. It could just be a stretch there, but the fact that they're bringing more people over and incentivizing, like accelerating. I mean, what is this going to do to? We already have a caravan, a massive caravan on its way here now. What is this going to do to promote the next caravan? How big is the next caravan going to be? I mean, they need to get as many people here as possible before midterms. Midterms are next year. You guys know 2022 is going to be huge. It's going to be chaotic. There's going to be a lot going on. Look for BLM riots. Look for some more George Floyd situations. You guys know how election years work. So there's going to be a lot more chaos than even this year. If that's hard, if that's even easy to believe, it's not. It's not easy to believe that, but it's true. There's going to be more chaos. So I think that this is them trying to get ahead of it. And further proof to kind of support my little theory here is the fact that they've been quietly flying illegal immigrants to New York in the middle of the night. So if this is really a good faith thing, Biden just really wants to help out illegals. He really cares about the child separation. When Trump and his racist border patrol were ripping children from their mothers and throwing them in cages, which are now called overflow facilities, but that's another story. I digress. If it was really about taking care of the illegal immigrants and we're a nation of immigrants and diversity is our strength and all that, why are you flying them in the middle of the night? Why New York? Very interesting. Just like with the Afghan refugee resettlement, they want to strategically resettle them in swing states. Why? Is it because there's been headway made on shoring up elections in states like Georgia, Texas, Florida? It's just something to think about. Elections are rigged, no doubt. We know that. We've seen all of the evidence, but they don't feel very comfortable, obviously. The people who we think are rigging elections and stealing them, they clearly don't feel that comfortable or confident in whatever system they have established. I mean, they weren't able to steal Florida successfully. So you got to give them that. They weren't able to steal Florida, Texas, and Ohio. Why? If it was truly rigged, and don't hear that I'm saying it's not, it's fine. I definitely agree that it is. How come they weren't able to steal the two largest swing states in the whole country, Florida and Ohio? They weren't able to do it. Just ask yourselves why. That's all I'm saying. But flying illegal immigrants in the middle of the night, you know what this is. And I'm not going to say the obvious, right? Like, well, he's paying illegal immigrants, but not paying Americans. What about the Hurricane Ida relief? What about all the other, Americans out of work? Of course, it's not about you. Duh. It's not about you. It never was. His slogan is Build Back Better. That is an international UN globalist slogan. It has nothing to do with American citizens. So this isn't shocking to me. I'm not surprised. They've been putting illegal immigrants first. So, but nonetheless, GOP is outraged over Biden talks to pay migrant families separated at the border. This is all based on policy, by the way. So that thing too is so stupid. This is your policy. This is a policy that was written by Congress, signed into law. The separation at the border, that's what we do here in America too. If parents break the law and get arrested, there's going to be child separation. That's just the way it is. So the phony outrage, miss me with it. Just spare me. I don't want to hear it for people that might be watching that are like, it's so wrong to separate children. Yeah, that's what happens when their parents or whoever is an adult that accompanies them, because we know that that's the thing too, trafficking children. They get separated. It's the way it is. So why are you going to pay them for something that you put into law? But nonetheless, GOP outraged about it. Yeah. What's going to happen? What does it mean that GOP is outraged? This brings to mind, I touched on it a little bit yesterday, the whole Merrick Garland getting grilled by Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, and others. I actually was going to play some clips of that yesterday, but I decided to nix those. The reason why is because what good does it do? What good would it do for me and my audience if I took a victory lap on Republicans grilling Merrick Garland, calling on him to resign, when we all know that the truth is he's not going to resign? He's not. From Anthony Fauci to Mark Milley, to Merrick Garland, and all of the Senate hearings where Republicans grill them and say all this stuff. Yeah, it creates little viral social media clips. It's perfect for their reelection campaigns, right? Gives them the perfect sound bites to campaign on and fundraise on. But it's just theater. It's just lip service. I understand they probably can't just go and arrest them themselves, but like outside of them puffing their chests out saying, look, I'm going to hold you accountable, blah, blah, blah. Ted Cruz, look at how great Ted Cruz was saying that. I mean, they have to know whether or not they believe what they're saying. I think they do believe what they're saying. I mean, what they were saying was spot on as far as what they were saying to Merrick Garland, the points they made up that they brought up, right? That's fine, but they know that nothing will happen. And I'm just tired of it. It's one of those yawn moments. It's like, yeah, cool, great. Republicans, what are you going to do besides just talk? So, yeah, that's what I have to say about GOP. But there is some good news regarding the GOP. Adam Kinzinger won't seek reelection. And that's good. I mean, he's one of those Republicans, don't like him very much, but hey, at least he has told you who he is. You know who he is. He doesn't hide who he is. He's more authentic than probably half of the GOP because he's saying, hey, look, I'm anti-Trump. Look at me. Now it's to his detriment, obviously. He knows better than to seek re-election because that's the end of his campaign or his political career. It's not expedient for him anymore. I mean, he's probably got book deals, so expect him to make the rounds and be a CNN contributor and write a book about how much he hates Trump and MAGA and everything else. He's one of those. He's just like Liz Cheney. Why isn't Liz Cheney stepping down? You know, props to Adam Kinzinger for acknowledging that his political career is over. He's not arrogant enough to seek re-election. He knows, like, hey, I knew this was political suicide, so I'm just willing to just die on this hill. Good for him. Good riddance. Make way for a better, more effective candidate to take his seat. So good. That's good news. Good news on the GOP front. Now, Andrew Cuomo, let's talk about this. I think personally, the timing of it is peculiar because today is the deadline for NYC city workers to get vaccinated or go on unpaid leave. Now, the massive protest has been covered all week long. I see a lot of local news, of course, covering it in New York City. So I think that the timing of this is kind of a distraction, so to speak, although it is good news. It's good news that he's being charged over groping women. And if he's convicted, he could face, I think, a year in prison and then have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, which is great. So that's good. But we all know that he should really fry for his nursing home scandal. So I can't even really like brag about this, take a victory lap on this. Like, yes, even though it's good that he is being charged, he's being held accountable. It's a very strategic holding accountable of this disgraced governor. We all know, what is this video we're looking at? This is weird. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was a distraction. Anyway, we all know that he should be doing hard time for his nursing home scandal, along with Gretchen Whitmer, Phil Murphy, and Tom Wolf, I think, or whatever the Pennsylvania governor's name is, Gavin Newsom. So this just feels like softball. This is just, yeah. And we'll see if he even gets convicted of this. Who knows? He might settle out of court or something. I don't expect much out of this, although it is a good news story, but I think it's more of a distraction from what's going on in New York City. All eyes on New York City. Something has to give. We'll see what happens. This is the deadline. A lot of people are trying to push de Blasio to extend that deadline as opposed to just scrap it all together. So we'll see. And you know what else? While we're on this topic, why is it always Democrats? And this is a rhetorical question. Why is it always Democrat governors or gubernatorial candidates that are caught up in these horrific, embarrassing scandals? It's not just Cuomo. Remember the guy running for governor in Florida, Andrew Gillum? Cheated on his wife, had a meth-fueled orgy with a male prostitute in a hotel. All kind of prescription drugs, everything else. After he was a contributor on CNN, and all he did was grandstand and take the false moral high ground and character bash Ron DeSantis and Trump, and then he gets caught up in this scandal. But they loved them some Andrew Gillum. They loved them some Andrew Cuomo. They love Andrews. They love them, despite the fact that they both got caught up in these horrible scandals. And so, of course, you're not going to hear much about this on CNN or New York Times. You won't hear much about it, knowing damn well, got to do the whataboutism. If it were Ron DeSantis in this situation, that would be the news story for the rest of the year. They would follow the trial. They would interview the witnesses. They would bring them on, or the victims. They would do everything they could to amplify the story and keep it going. We know that's how that works. But since Andrew Cuomo was their darling, remember all the Cuomo sexuals out there? Remember how cringe that was? People who said that, so cringe. Where are they at now? Are they still going to be friends with Cuomo after he is a convicted sex offender? I mean, probably. I mean, if you think about it, Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted pedophile, and he still was just making the rounds, still had a lot of friends. They all kind of run together. They don't care. So who knows? This might even get him more brownie points within the movement. But Andrew Cuomo being charged is a good thing, but we all know that he should go down for killing senior citizens in nursing homes instead of getting Emmy Awards and book deals. So good riddance to him. Moving on to another gubernatorial race here. Virginia shocker. Glenn Youngkin up 8 points or 8% over Democrat Terry McAuliffe in governor race poll. Now, I don't put too much stock into this poll. Really, I don't. I mean, it's a good sign. It shows that because I saw another headline that says that they're dead even. It's a way for them to try to control the narrative. But it's also very telling that Terry McAuliffe is getting paraded around the media. He's got everyone behind him, just like a typical Democrat would. He had the likes of Barack Hussein Obama campaigning for him. Of course, Hunter Biden's dad campaigned for him. Kamala Harris. They're broadcasting in churches, trying to get the souls to the polls. They're doing everything they can to get this Democrat elected, doing all the heavy lifting for him. And yet, Youngkin is up 8%. He's surging. He's the one. Why? Probably because he is in tune. He has his finger on the pulse of what people, not just in Virginia, but all across the country, truly feel, what's on their minds. I mean, and that the timing of that Loudoun County scandal, them covering up that sex assault, that doesn't help the Democrats. It certainly doesn't, because they're all for the transgenders going into bathrooms. They love it. That's their prize right there. That's their baby. Their vanity project is all the social issues. So for this governor, this candidate to be moving up, despite the fact that he's not getting much media coverage, I had to look up to see what he actually looked like. Nobody talks about him. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I hope that he wins, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because it is Virginia. It's a very blue Democrat stronghold, but they appear to be panicking. Again, going back to what I said about how they're doing everything they can to accelerate the influx of illegals coming into the country. I mean, they sure are campaigning extra hard in Virginia for the Democrat who should just be a shoo-in. It should be a slam dunk for him, if in fact they have, shadowy ways to secure the victory. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I'm not really sure, but the fact that he is up in the polls is a good sign. And I actually watched believe it or not, I do still consume some Vice News media, because I don't know, there's something about Vice that it's not all bad. And it's also, it's good to know what kind of things that they choose to focus on, which we know they're left-wing bias and propaganda machine. But I watched a little mini piece on this race, and they're talking about how this candidate is straddling the fence. They're saying that the reason why he's so popular is because he's got independent support. And the reason why he has independent support is because he is focused on those issues, those dinner table issues like kids in schools, taxes, and all of that. So he's appealing to moderates and independents in Virginia because he's talking about the schools and everything. And of course, McAuliffe's like horrible sound bites of him saying parents don't have any control and they shouldn't. The state should dictate what kids learn. But this guy is focused on appealing to moderates and independents, but also appealing to MAGA, which is the whole reason that Vice News made this piece to say, look, he is appealing to MAGA, but also to moderates. That's why he's really surging, and it's because he knows he has to get the Trump base. They don't want the Trump base to grow. They think that the Trump base was just some anomaly in time, that it's not a real movement, that it's not the majority of the country. They really think that. So they're doing what they can to try to pacify the growth of the MAGA movement and just say like, oh, it's just some straggler Trump supporters, but he needs them to win. But this is very important. This guy, Youngkin, is not focusing on Trump, and that's why he is surging. And I think that that's a good thing. The reason why is because the problems going on in our country don't have anything to do with Trump. So the focus should not be on Trump. He shouldn't be appealing to MAGA in that way. Like, yeah, I got Trump's endorsement. That shouldn't matter at all. It shouldn't, because the issues in Virginia and elsewhere in the country should be focused on one person. Well, one party, the Democrats, the people that are pushing to grow government footprint, raise taxes, inflation, gas prices, food shortages, spying on bank accounts, everything they're trying to do with their bills, the infrastructure bill, the Build Back Better, the reconciliation bill, all of the fireworks and all of the promises, the free stuff that they're promising. So that's good that he's focused on that. And I think that might be a good strategy. I mean, if he can do this much, and obviously I know Trump endorsed him, but even if Trump didn't endorse him, the fact that he has a good shot of winning in a blue state is a good thing. So those are my thoughts on the Glenn Youngkin up 8% over the Democrat Terry McAuliffe. So we'll see how that plays out. Next week is going to be very interesting. The first sort of elections and that have taken place since last year. Okay, moving on. Parents demand California school board president step down after FU hot mic incident. Oh, I talked about this yesterday. The arrogance of the school board president just dismissing concerned parents over masks, over vaccines and critical race theory. Their dismissive attitude is really lighting a fire under parents. See, we get things done when you get the people, when we the people come together, put our political differences aside and see who's really doing all of the damage in our country, we can get things done. It's effective. And I think if they can put enough pressure, shed a big enough spotlight on the situation here, because this is bad. It's bad optics. How do you defend somebody on a school board saying F you to a parent? How do you defend that? How do you spin it? So people coming together demanding that this person step down, I think you're more likely to get that person to step down. I think that this could actually happen, and I think that's the right thing. It'd be a huge win. And it's because of social media, the fact that somebody happened to record that and catch it and spread it. It went viral. And now they're calling on this president to step down. How do you not step down? I feel like because at a local level, you don't have the insulation of Washington, D.C. and donors and people that you don't have a workaround to commit this act and say what you said and then not have to step down. So I think that because this is a local level in California, I think that we'll hear that this president has to step down. So I think that's good news. We'll see what happens. I want to follow it and see. But these school board members need to be held accountable, not just for what they're saying, because this is what they think. This is how they're really responding to all of the outrage by parents. They're dismissive. They're calling for backup. Hey, send in the FBI. These parents are getting crazy over what we're doing to their kids. This is what they actually think. So this is great that it was caught on camera. Everything that they're trying to do is backfiring. From Let's Go Brandon to censorship on social media, it's having a opposite effect. So it's good. We'll see if this president steps down. All right. Here's an interesting one, guys. Survey reveals white students are lying about their race to get into college, receive financial aid. But I thought it was bad to be a minority in this country. I thought that minorities are super duper oppressed and white supremacy is just crushing everyone. And black people and Hispanics and Native Americans and Asians simply just can't get ahead because of the boogeyman, white supremacy, the specter. I thought that was a thing, but yet you have white people trying to be minorities. I mean, the most famous would be Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. She literally pretended to be Native American to advance her career. Now, beyond the fact that that's just a sick thing to do, it's telling. It's a subcommunication that, hey, there's actually advantages to being a minority in this country. There is. So let me pretend to be a minority so that, I can move ahead. It'll be easier for me. Very interesting. Completely destroys the narrative of people who try to say America's such a racist country, you can't make it anywhere. The people that are shouting that the loudest are very successful. They're athletes, they're entertainers, they're multi-million-dollar news anchors on multi-million-dollar news networks. These are the people shouting through a megaphone, hey, minorities are oppressed. I mean, you even have Michelle Obama saying that. Obama himself would say how oppressive America is. It's like, bro, you were in the White House twice. You live in a mansion on Martha's Vineyard. You accumulated several $100 million of wealth, which, the IRS should probably be investigating instead of people like you and me, but it's another story. So this completely destroys the narrative, right? Everybody wants to be minority, and I don't mean everybody, but it pays to be a minority because of the culture of victimhood. They teach that there is virtue in seeing yourself as some victim. There's currency in being a victim, a poor, oppressed little victim. And that's why you have so many hate crime hoaxes. That's exactly why. Because they want to catch themselves in a viral moment so they can get social media clout, so they can go make their name known, get a book deal, get a TV deal, something like that. That's exactly what it is. And so some of these white students, they happen to notice. Very interesting. Blows up the complete narrative, like the narrative of Rutgers professor Brittany Cooper, who I played a video of yesterday. It's getting a lot of views now. People are, she called for genocide. And I didn't play the whole video because it was too much. It's too much. But at the rest of the video, she's pretty much saying that, whiteness has an expiration date. I mean, all of the dog whistles were there. All of the genocidal rhetoric that she used is, that should be grounds for an investigation, if not her outright termination. But will she be terminated? No, because like as I said yesterday, she's insulated by her skin color. So she is able to retreat into her identity and act like an oppressed black woman. That's what she's going to do. Now that people are starting to criticize her, now that it's now mainstream, people are talking about it. Now she can retreat into her identity and say, oh, y'all are just attacking me because I'm a woman, a strong woman of color, and y'all are just racist. That's probably what she would do. Preaching this cancerous victimhood narrative. It's such a cancer, you guys. It's just metastasized everywhere in American culture. And she's not done. She is not done. She claimed that reopening America during the pandemic was a tool for conservatives to kill black people. Clown world. Yes, that's why conservatives wanted to reopen America, so they could kill black people. I mean, this is just, for this to be a college professor, I mean, you got to have a really, really, really low IQ to actually believe that. You really do. It's just like when Joy Reid on MSNBC said, Republicans would trade their tax cuts if they could say the N-word. She must know her audience. She must think that the people watching her and listening to her spew that bile It must be really, really dumb. So I could just say anything right now and they'll believe it. They'll eat right out of my hand. I could say anything. I could traffic in any lie, a big, absurd lie, even. Let's test out the theory. Let me say something really just outlandish. Same thing with this college professor at Rutgers University. I mean, what does it say about your education in America? And the fact that people would pay to sit here and listen to her lecture. And she is clearly not that bright. Clearly, she might be book smart. Yes. You listen to her talk. She sounds educated. Yes. Lots of word salad, big words, sophisticated rhetoric. But what is she really saying? Nothing. Nothing at all. She's just lying in mental gymnastics, just convincing people, hey, it's not your fault you're fat. It's not your fault that you haven't made it ahead. It's the white man. It's not just her. It's, like I said, it's Joy Reid. It's a lot of minorities who have really made a name for themselves, really made a lot of money in this country that are trying to keep everyone else down with lies, doing the devil's work, which is why we got to expose them every single day. Moving on. I can't go into this one, but I'm just going to read the headline. Ireland has massive new COVID outbreak despite 91% vaccination rate. You can make of that whatever you will. But yeah, I'm going to move on from that. Now, last one. This is good news. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Top Florida officials suggest In-N-Out move to the Sunshine State after vaccine mandate closures. Now, will it happen? No, probably not. The reason I think In-N-Out has restaurants in the strategic places that they do and they haven't expanded further has something to do with them providing the freshest possible food and not being too far away from farms or something like that. That's what I read like years ago about it, that they haven't expanded for that reason. They don't want to spread themselves too thin for distribution and freshness or something like that, which is, I mean, that's commendable, but still, you need to find a way. You need to find a way. Exit California. Make California pay. Come down to Florida, come to Georgia, Tennessee, come to the Southeast. I mean, you went as far east as Texas. The very least you could do is come to the Sunshine State where you will flourish. Guarantee if you set up an In-N-Out restaurant anywhere in the state of Florida, put it smack dab in the middle of the state, put it in Orlando, and watch lines around the block. They would thrive. And they wouldn't be under, oppressive rule and mandates, because we don't have those here. We just have freedom. So that's it, guys. Like I told you, nice, light, and airy, easy live stream on Friday. I didn't want it to be too heavy. This has been a long week, honestly. It's like between the 4-month sleep regression and everything else going on this week, I just feel like I want to go and take a nice, much needed, much deserved break this weekend. I'm unplugging my brain this weekend. So I just wanted it to be light, short and sweet on this Friday. So let me read a few comments and I'm going to head out. Okay. Now, appreciate everybody for being here. Please give it a thumbs up. That's the best thing you can do to help this channel grow. I also did see that I got a super chat early in the stream here. Whoever that was, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't catch it right then and there. I think you actually sent it during the Let's Go Brandon song. But if you're still watching, thank you so much. You are much appreciated. Somebody left a comment saying, are you on Mike's Telegram? No, but you should be. I mean, I use Telegram the way that I use Facebook. I don't post as much as I did when I first set it up, but I do post regularly on Telegram. And for whatever reason, the followers are dropping off, and it could be just because I haven't posted a lot there. But I'm going to start probably posting maybe 1 or 2 exclusive things on there a week. I really want to grow my Telegram channel. So please subscribe to my Telegram channel. I think it's just if you search Mike Nificent on there. Actually, it might be Mike Nificent 813. All the links are in the description of every video. But find me on Telegram. Follow me on Telegram. Follow me on Getter as well. Thanks, Mike. We really appreciate your job. Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate you. It's really not hard to do what I do. It's It just takes a little bit of focus and clarity and understanding what the mission is here, and understand that I will look back on this and know that I gave it my all to try to save the country, and then we'll see what happens in the end. Mike Nificent, search YouTube for brutal ad, American Nightmare, Latino Victory Fund, TV ad. What is that? Um, is it heavy? I mean, I did just say nothing heavy or deep for Friday. We'll get back to that Monday. Tell me more about it. Brutal ad sounds like it might be heavy. Mike Nificent for Congress. I don't think so. I don't think it's my calling. I really don't think that God wants me there. Doesn't mean that it won't be something that I do later. I actually have no desire to join the ranks of the federal establishment at all. DC has really foul negative energy. It's not good for my soul. I can't. You go to that city and you can feel the negativity, especially when you get around the Capitol building. And I think my skills are best suited right where I'm at right now. At the very least, maybe I could run for like school board or something. I would run for something local because the impacts are much greater on the state and local level than they ever will be on the national level. And that's how it should be. That is how it should be. The federal government needs to have way less power, significantly less power and influence over the everyday lives of American citizens. Thank you, Charles. Charles says, everyone should read the Epic Times article regarding Florida's low death rate from COVID. Enjoy your weekend, Mike. God bless all. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always. I would change the air in DC. I mean, I don't know about that. That's pretty powerful. DC has been under dark influence for many, 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 many moons. I mean, you could look at the history. You could look at the shape of the shape of the streets. Like, I don't know. There's some interesting facts about DC, and it explains a lot of why the evil is so pervasive there. You are powerful. God is in you. God is in all of us if we seek him. That is the truth. And God chose all of us to be alive for times such as these. The line has been drawn in the sand. It's very clear. It's very clear that we are deeply entrenched in spiritual warfare in the world, not just the country, the world. Evil will not prevail, though evil is lashing out, rearing its ugly head in every aspect of life. You're seeing it rise up. Specifically, you're seeing it rise up in the education system. It's schools, it's children. The wicked one is preying on the youth, preying on the most vulnerable amongst us. And that's why I have to take weekends to unplug and recharge, because it's so negative, it's so heavy, it's so depressing what's happening. I mean, it's in my nature, as it should be anyone's. It should be in your nature. It should just be your instinct to protect children. You see a little kid on the side of the road, wouldn't you slam on your brakes and figure out what's going on? Put everything down and be like, I have to go help that kid. There's a kid alone on the side of the road or whatever. You see a kid in trouble, 100% of the people I know would rush in, drop everything they're doing to go and help the kid. That's the way it is. But yet you have other people who see kids as expedients. They see the mind of an innocent child as a blank canvas for a dark agenda. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what we're up against. If that isn't evidence of spiritual warfare, you'll never see it. The war is on the youth right now. It's on all of us, but especially the youth. Salty army is legion. Let the salt flow. Shout out to the salty army. Too many expect Big Daddy government to do that. To do what? Everything. Cradle to grave dependence. Just not into it. And that's why they hate all you Jesus freaks out there. They hate you. They hate the God-fearing of our society because you seek a higher authority than government. Why do you think in places like China, they control Christianity? They have a state-run Christianity. They monitor church services over there. At one point, they were burning churches. We obviously know they persecute Christians and Muslims. They persecute anybody who's of religious faith because they appeal to a higher authority than the state. Therefore, it is a direct threat to state power. Those of us adults are too far gone for those evil Marxists, so they have to try to go after children because children are young and impressionable. And just think about it. It's the purest form of human innocence. We're born sinners, but a child is innocent until corrupted by the world. All babies are innocent. All of them. They're innocent. Toddlers, 2-year-olds, innocent. Once they get into school, once they get a little bit older, they're a little less innocent. But early on, I mean, there's just something divine about that. The love that you experience as a parent, I mean, your capacity to love, you reach your full capacity to love. You think you reach it before you have kids, and then when you do, you're like, whoa. Not to get all sentimental on you guys, but that's something that I learned this very year. BC China's only goal is world domination, always has been. None of us should be asleep at the wheel. Some of us are. There are plenty who see. There are plenty who will see once shown, and then there are people who just won't see at all. And that's a fact. I mean, it's an unfortunate fact, but it is a fact nonetheless. Some people will never return. Some people are going to wear masks for the rest of their lives. Some people are going to trust the authoritative news for life. They're never going to see a different alternative view. They're never going to understand when they're being lied to. You could even show them side by side. Like, hey, look, here's the New York Times 6 months ago saying one thing. Here they are yesterday saying another thing. Some people just, they don't see it or they don't want to see it. Thank you, Mike, for always telling the truth. I'm committed to the truth. The truth is a value. You have to want to know if what you believe is real or not. You have to want to know. Like, hey, I want to know that that car that I want to buy is safe. I want to know that it's got good fuel economy. I want to know that I'm going to like it. I can't take someone's word for it. I need to know. I'm a truth seeker. I want to know if it's real or not. Maybe it just comes natural to be a critical thinker and want to know what's real and what isn't. Some people are like, yeah, I'll take the consensus word. That's a consensus. The majority of people see this thing or believe this thing, so it's probably safe to think and believe that thing. You can't save everyone, especially the sheeple indoctrinated. You can only save yourself. And really, Jesus can save you, but not without you seeking him first. And all of the signs are right there. He's with you every step of the way. You got to open your eyes. You got to unplug from the matrix. And that's why there's so many distractions. That's why they distract us with meaningless materialism, while all the while subliminally demoralizing us with symbolism and everything else. You think about it. I mean, it's really obvious. To some of us, it's really obvious. I want to know if God is real, but I just don't see it. I have a hard time believing a loving God would create all this evil. God didn't create the evil. The evil is within man. Okay. We have free will. Like I said, there's a dark force trying to corrupt the hearts and minds of man. How else could you explain somebody who murders someone or abuses children, kills children, abuses animals? Other evil acts of terror is corruption. It's the corruption of the mind, corruption of the body, corruption of the soul. I could go on and on about this, but you just have to go deep, dig deep, and find that truth for yourself. Walk by faith, not by sight. It's more powerful if you can believe what you can't see. But you got to have that conviction. De Blasio will be replaced by fellow constituent Eric Adams, who will ruin NYC even more. It's hard to imagine NYC being ruined even more, but I suppose he could, yeah. God gives us free will. Absolutely, he does. They're saying they don't know how safe the jabs are for children. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. People are just lining up to be experimental guinea pigs. Let them do it. I'm not even going to judge them. I'm to each their own. If that's what you want to do it. But I'm not doing it with you. It's just that simple. I won't. I will do exactly whatever I want to do. And no other human being is going to tell me how to run my own life. It's just the way it works. Salty Florida Man says, Mike, please check out the American Nightmare political ad from VA governor race. It's not vulgar and it's on YouTube. Okay, let's do it. This is going to be the last thing. American Nightmare political ad. Let's see how easy it may be to find. Okay. We're going to find it. Let's see. American Nightmare. Whoops. No. Political ad. This is old, from 3 years ago. This is old. This is when Ralph Northam was running against I almost said Ed Buck. I can't remember the name. Ed Gillespie. Are you talking about that? It's 3 years old. I don't see anything from recently. It's a very stupid ad. I really don't want to play it. It's dumb. It's somebody with a Confederate flag on a pickup truck and a "Don't Tread on Me" bumper sticker on the back, and he's chasing down minority children running away scared. It's so blatantly propagandist. It's really obvious, but that's old. No, it's not new. It's old. That was used against Ed Gillespie by Blackface Northam. Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. I'm wrapping up. I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. I'm gonna go unplug for the weekend. I will be back next week on Monday. So God bless you. Make sure you should give it a thumbs up. Share it across social media. Give it a like. If you're new, sub and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any live streams. Also, check out the video I posted most recently on my second channel, Mike Nificent 813. Make sure that you're subscribed to my second channel as well, in case anything ever happens to this main one. That's the best way to find me. So go ahead and sub to the backup channel, Mike Nificent 813, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream. God bless.